whole life, I didn't know I even existed. But I do. People are starting to notice.
Send in the clown.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just thought of something funny, and you wouldn't get it. But now, I'm always smiling. Anyway, all the jokes aside, as I quit clowning around, it's me, Daniel, aka the Pop Culture Dude, but today, I'm not sure if any of this is true. That's why I put a question mark if it is confirmed or not, because this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter that there is potential talks that a Joker sequel is definitely confirmed. And I already told you this before. I made like 3 Joker videos, like why Joker is my favorite DC movie of all time, why is my favorite R-rated movie. Go watch those videos, and then you can see my roleplay tribute that I added clips earlier in this video. But the point is, I never expect the sequel to come. I mean, it was kind of inevitable because Joker is now the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. It already made $1 billion and it beats The Dark Knight, even though I prefer Joker over The Dark Knight. I do like The Dark Knight, but I just think Joker was a much better film than Dark Knight. But the overall point is, since it already made the $1 billion club, and I do want to see the $1 billion club to have it because it was all Todd Philips' idea. His idea was about to make a movie about a mentally ill loner who's been trashed by society, and he wanted that to start with Joaquin Phoenix. Most importantly, he wanted people to see it. So yeah, there's going to be so much controversy, and I'm so glad that he put it up to Warner Brothers, $1 billion studio, by saying, I want to make an R-rated Joker origin story film, and they did it. This is why I have so much respect for Warner Brothers of letting their filmmakers and let this genius, Todd Phillips, who bring this amazing Oscar-worthy, talented actor Joaquin Phoenix, who just embodies the Joker. And in my non-spoiler review, I'll tell you why Joaquin Phoenix is my favorite Joker, just because he is, of course, I can have empathy for him. He's the most human Joker to me. We both have a very similar origin story, and of course, we have a lot of things in common that we do. Especially, we laugh, of course, at sometimes at inappropriate times. Like some points where I do laugh at sometimes, and then people just ask, like, what's so funny? And then I just rather keep it in my mouth, like, and the thing is, I have so much emotions for that movie. And like I said, go watch my non-spoiler review. But speaking of spoilers, since there's going to be a Joker sequel, there will be some spoilers, issues that will be discussed. Not right now, but later on. But from the source right here, it talks about the potential of, since the success of Joker is now eventually that a sequel could be in the works. But now, this is what I just got, and this is officially from what the websites are technically ordered. Joker is secretly reporting in the works after the movie passed the $1 billion record, since it's the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, period. And the fact is, the one thing that's really interesting about it, it's so surprising that Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, it says right here that they are most likely to confirm. I mean, it's no surprise, honestly, because Joaquin Phoenix, he isn't really much of a sequel type of person. Like, he doesn't like to reprise one of his roles, and he never expects Joker to be his dream role. But there's this one interview that he's actually pretty much open to replay the Joker again for a second time. Like, very recently, Joaquin Phoenix just told the Los Angeles Times that this month it didn't take him long, the idea for the Joker sequel. And guess what? He and Todd Phillips already share, like, ideas in their production. To me, it's just amazing that a director and you have your male leading actor eventually has, like, a close relationship and they just bond this new friendship. So that's why I respect, like, the crew behind Joker. But anyway, this is what Joaquin Phoenix says. He says, long before the release, before we have any idea if the film would have been successful, we talk about sequels. Phoenix says, in the second or third week of shooting, I was like, Todd, can you start working on a sequel? There's way too much to explore. Even though that both Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips have maintained that any Joker sequel will feel drastically different in story and tone than its originated movie that continues to play theaters worldwide. But the thing is, like I said, I would definitely like to see. Okay, spoilers ahead from the ending of the Joker movie. Below, you've been warned. You got spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1. So now we get to the spoiler territory of Joker. So after the ending from that sweet, iconic scene where Arthur decides to, like, put himself away until then, boom, the Joker has been born, from the makeup to the green hair, and walking to Murray Franklin showing how we got that most iconic dancing scene. And like I said, it's one of the most greatest scenes in cinema when he starts dancing to Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 2. So yeah, some people just call it the Hey song, but literally when he just goes over there, he just let Arthur from the inside is already dead, and that's why he's slowly transforming to the Joker himself, especially from that talk show with Murray Franklin. And eventually, like, it's so like such a plot twist that he looked up to as him as his idol, but technically he just realized like everyone is awful these days, and you're awful, Murray, playing your video, find me on the show. All you just want to do is make fun of me, and you're like the rest of them. And then eventually Arthur decided to put his dark sense of humor, and of course he really like put so much social commentary about how much of these people that eventually, like, they wouldn't care if anyone, of course, they were either like a clown freak or it, even though he eventually killed the 3 Wall Street guys at the subway train, and it wasn't his fault. It's just that they were just bullying him and they were just messing with him because he has a laughing condition that eventually just made me feel sad for him. And even though it's violent, it's wrong, but I cannot blame him for it, especially the fact where it's one of the most iconic lines that he just kills Murray, like when he's laughing that it was his fault for killing those guys. How about another joke, Murray? What do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash? I'll tell you what you get. You get what you deserve, and then just shoots in the gun, eventually just kills Murray Franklin. And the one thing is, it was very, of course, brutal, and the one thing I just really like that he just go onto the camera and saying, good night, and remember, that's, and then it just cuts to the splash. But the one thing that was really interesting, that when Joker once made his own speech by the talk show, and eventually of being self-aware from how he being treated by society, how he doesn't get that much respect, not from people like Thomas Wayne. And he, of course, had this life of condition after when his mom's been hiding secrets from him, from his her abusive boyfriend, that eventually just made Joker got that life of condition in the first place. Once again, personal story, I can relate to Arthur's origin by that point. But the thing is, he eventually, of course, finds out with Bruce Wayne, and basically, yes, you already know he's the Batman, but this movie isn't about Batman, it's about the Joker. And the one thing that was really interesting, I'm like, could he be related to the Waynes, since Arthur needs to find answers about his real father? That's why he snuck into Thomas's Wayne place, and that's when Alfred eventually tells Arthur that your mother is crazy, which leads up to the ending where everything in Gotham City just looks chaotic. And of course, when the police says, now the world is burning, and then he's like, I know. Isn't it beautiful? Until then, most of course, the people who look up to Joker as a symbol and eventually just help him escape. And then literally one of the gang members eventually shot Bruce Wayne's parents, Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne, and says the exact same thing. You get what you deserve. And eventually when he just shot them down, it's kind of reminds me of the 1989 Batman film where a younger version of Joker kills Martha and of course Thomas Wayne as well. And the thing is, it's kind of like, it's not really like Joker's like 100% responsible for both Bruce Wayne's parents' death, but at the exact same time, it kind of is, since of course, most of the people who are wearing the clown mask are actually influenced by him. Until then, Bruce's parents are dead, like as usual, but I just like this twist. And then eventually, one of the most iconic scenes, and you probably see it like earlier in the video, where he does the iconic blood smile, where everyone is just praising him, and eventually he's now like a hero and of course like a savior to most all of these Gotham cities. And eventually where it just leads off to the ending where we go to this psychiatrist's office that Arthur's already locked up, and then he was just asked by the psychiatrist, oh, what's so funny? We don't get it. But the thing is, was any of this real, or was this all just in his mind? I mean, I can relate the fact that we both like imagine stuff in our minds, like some of it could be real, some of it could be not. But the movie itself has a really nice ending to That's Life from Frank Sinatra's like, that's life, and I can't deny it. Such a perfect song for a perfect movie ending. And even though when I rewatched the movie multiple times, I'm like, I don't know if I want to have a sequel, but at the exact same time, I kind of want one, because honestly, I would rather see Joaquin Phoenix play the Joker again instead of just recasting another actor or bringing back Jared Leto. Don't start with me with Jared Leto. But the overall point is, even though Todd Phillips says the movie was meant to be standalone, he never wanted to set up a sequel, and even though I was a bit skeptical of that, but from the movie's success, especially, yes, it may have some mixed reviews with critics. They prefer Captain Marvel over Joker. They don't understand what good films is. But I just, of course, I'm on the side, like, I love Joker and I defend it. I don't care, of course, you have any towards criticism to it. But the point is, I never expected, of course, a sequel to come, even though it was kind of like obvious for Joaquin Phoenix says that there's so many possibilities that he could do, especially the production that he's talking to Todd Phillips. And even Todd Phillips even just talks about working with Joaquin Phoenix again. Like literally, he just says, I'll do anything what Joaquin does any day of the week. There's nobody like him. If he's willing to do it, if people show up to the movie and Warner Brothers come to us, you know what, guys? I think it's something cool. Well, I have a feeling that it could be something cool. And one thing is, it's kind of like hinting us that he actually got an idea. And how do I know about this? Like, very recently, I'm like, okay, we're getting a sequel for sure. It's Todd Phillips says, if he does a sequel in one condition, he says, it won't be just this wild movie about this clown prince of crime. It'll have some, thematic renaissance in a similar way that Joker does, because I think it's ultimately why the movie's connected. It's why it's going underneath. So many movies are about the spark, and this is about the powder. If you could capture it again in a real way. And that's one of the things I just really love about it, that they're already like processing ideas. And my request for a Joker sequel, take Joaquin Phoenix's Joker away from the DC extended universe as soon as possible. For what made this movie work, he didn't need a Batman, and he's already like a self-contained story. It doesn't need, of course, needs millions of dollars to CGI just be part of a shared cinematic universe. It's a low-budget character study of a failed stand-up comedian who eventually just becomes the clown prince of crime, who eventually just becomes a symbol as the Joker. And that's why, for movies like this, a Joker sequel is not just also confirmed, they also confirmed that Todd Phillips is going to make another DC-related film that is more like Joker. And like I said, my best suggestion will be Lex Luthor, like a presidential political figure as Lex Luthor. That could work. And so I definitely see that as a possibility. And this is why, even though I'm a Marvel fan, I'm definitely excited for what the future of DC has to hold, because I'm so glad that finally Warner Bros. And DC are finally find the formula to compete with Marvel and with Disney. Instead of just rushing everything in just to make a team-up film just to beat Marvel and compete with them like they did with Batman v Superman and Justice League, to make it more like the Avengers, and butcher Suicide Squad like an overtized Hot Topic material. But now they're just doing like these low-budget standalone films. Like, this is why I'm excited for Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 2, James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and Matt Reeves' Batman with Robert Pattinson taking the role. They're just doing the complete opposite about it. And Warner Brothers, I give respect to them for letting their filmmakers have their own creative freedom instead of just like any restrictions. The director should direct the film, the writer should write the film, the studio should like finance and distribute and market the film. The writer should not interfere with the other director's job. Like, you're focusing on making a good movie and not just specializing on a cash cow. And if you're wondering, when is the sequel going to come out? I don't know, but my best guess will be 2022, because 2021, there's going to be a lot of comic book movies that's definitely going to come out for sure. And another thing is, the reason why, of course, I'm definitely looking for the future of DC is finally they have just find their way just to make their movies interesting. And speaking of Batman, since we both, of course, the origin of Joker's arc has already been completed in the film, and then we see Bruce Wayne's origins already started. Could we see him facing Robert Pattinson's Batman? I don't want that. The reason why I don't want that, because first off, Robert Pattinson's Batman is basically meant to be standalone. Plus, they already have so many villains, from Two-Face to Riddler to Catwoman to Penguin to Firefly and even Mad Hatter. I'm like, there's no way that he's going to meet up with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. And like I said, if you're going to make a Joker sequel, make it more Joker-centered. Like, I want to see what is the aftermath of Gotham will be like. And I wonder how Zazie Beetz' character Sophie would react to. If those of you who have seen the movie, once again, another spoiler, that's why I said spoiler territory. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch the film at least once, and then you could come back watching to this video. But technically, by the fact that Arthur thought he has a brief relationship, it was all in her head, but eventually, we thought that you eventually killed her off in the apartment when he says, I have a bad day, which is a reference to all it takes, it's one bad day, from the iconic comic book storyline, The Killing Joke. But now, the Todd Phillips just confirmed that Arthur didn't kill her, he just let her go. It's just that the reason why he didn't is because she didn't do anything awful to Arthur like most of the other people that happened to him throughout the entire movie. So I want to know some other stuff, including some deleted scenes. We actually see her watching the TV of the Joker on the Murray Franklin TV show, and in that interview that eventually that she notices about that. And that's why I want to know, instead of just time jumping to another film, like so many years later. I want the sequel to take place immediately where the first film immediately just left off, like from the psychiatrist. And for Joaquin Phoenix says, even though there might be some things that may be true, some of them might be in his thoughts, but the point is, Joaquin Phoenix says, like, him being the Joker, that was true. Like, all of this, like, him becoming the Clown Prince of Crime, killing those people, that's why there was an ambulance by the ending of the movie, and that's how he eventually got locked up in a cell, and eventually starts running around in an asylum. And even though, like I said, I love the movie that's self-contained, but make it more like the Dark Knight trilogy. Don't make it part of a shared cinematic universe. Just make your own self-contained standalone stories of a trilogy of most of these films, kind of like what the Dark Knight did. But that's my personal advice for what I like to see in a Joker sequel. And that's why Joker's just a miracle for comic book movies. And the thing is, it lets its own creative freedom, and eventually it's pretty much different for most of these movies. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to be part of a shared cinematic universe, because Joker did something different. And that's one of the things I love about this movie, from how much it touched me personally, and it's my favorite movie of 2019. And I'm so glad it's going to the Oscars 2020 nomination. We need, of course, this movie needs to get win for Best Director, Best Leading Actor, Best Screenplay, Best Music, Best Cinematography, Best Production Design, Best Costume Design. I just really, of course, if, of course, they eventually don't want to, like, nominate for an Oscar, I'm going to be put the gun and be like, you get what you deserve. So that's everything that I had to say for now. And like I said, the future of DC is definitely brighter over our heads. They eventually know what to do exactly for making their good movies. And now that's all I had to say. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Now, well, excuse me, I'm going to go dancing on the stairs. Oops, I forgot to punch out.
Oh, Murray, one small thing. When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Good night, and remember,